Hi Lisa, this is Stephen with Fairs Management Interactive, also known as Fairs MI. Our software serves the event planning industry, primarily fairs and expositions in the US and Canada. We've been in business for 20 years and our clients include venues that range from the Canadian National Exposition to little county fairs in remote Oregon communities. Here is a very informal preview of the planner tools until we schedule an online demonstration for you and any of your team you'd like to include. We've included in our outdoor map list the pier parking lot, the Caroline Street stage, and the Northside Park. But you can request as many areas as you want for us to process and put in your list. The pricing doesn't change, it's a single annual subscription. Our planner is used also for indoor venues. We've included a temporary example, but you can include the convention and performance centers or any other indoor venues for again the single annual subscription price. These maps are high resolution with scale accuracy to the fractions of a foot. One of the unique features for Fairs MI is the ability to use actual objects and symbols to replace the usual white rectangles. Tents, kiosks, bleachers, picnic tables. We even have semis and buses if you need to include a marshalling yard. This list on the left you see is customizable. Any object you need can be created and added in. Other tool groups include the pod controls, which automatically lays out and numbers groups of booths or objects with controls to set the booth and aisle sizes and the numbering system. There's the booth control tool that allows you to edit individual booths or objects, use color coding for vendor classification, label them, and rotate them. And the exhibitor data tool to assign vendor space, which saves the information within your drawing and automatically generates an Excel spreadsheet exhibitor list. The controls and navigation are primarily drag and drop with your mouse with all the usual keyboard shortcut keys. Well, okay, so let's move on to the fun part. We'll go ahead and click on the pier parking lot from the list and use the pod control to lay out a group of booths. And please keep in mind, if you have an event with a non-uniform setup, you can lay out all the booths just as easily. Here you see I've assigned the size of the area to be assigned to each vendor, and the aisle size as well as the vertical orientation. Then I just grab the pod icon with my mouse and drag it into place. From there I can, again, just use the mouse to cut in cross aisles and edit the space. Assigning vendors to exhibitor space or labeling display objects is easy. Just click on the booth and record the name, product, and vendor classification. Once you enter the information, it becomes part of the saved layout plan. You can generate an updated Excel exhibitor list which includes the exhibitor data as well as booth inventory with square footages of displays. Resizing individual booths is easy. Just delete any of the booths in the way. Click on the booth to be resized and set the booth size with the booth controller. And if your numbering on your layout just seems too small, you can grab all the booths at once and reset the font size or any other of the font characteristics. Let's go ahead and substitute some symbols for those white rectangles by pulling them from our list of icons. This is what a layout might look like using more from the icon list. We'll skip ahead and see where we've added more objects here like tents, and you can add boundary lines for attendees and plan out parking areas for trucks and buses. Any object you can think of we can add to your individualized icon list in 24 to 48 hours at no extra cost. Your layouts can be divided into layers also to be organized better or include items that you don't want to necessarily publish for the public but you want to keep track of. Something as simple as trash can placements. Or even, have you ever thought of revenue opportunities like sponsor banner locations? Now, let's look at the Caroline Street Beach and see how quickly a volleyball tournament may be laid out. We use our pod control settings to get started, and at first the layout we generate may not quite make sense, but using the editing tools and adding a temporary spacer booth to keep the distances uniformly apart, you can see how quick it is to knock out a volleyball court accurately to scale within the activity area. Let's just watch the rest of this process of finishing the court placement with the spacer booth and even adding a stage and a first aid area. Organizing an inside event in an event hall or meeting room is made easy with the automatic booth group and numbering tools. Here's a temporary facility example used for generating an exhibition style layout using the pod controls. The examples provided so far have been nice and tidy booths or objects all in a row, but often the outdoor events require irregular placements with different areas rotated other than 90 degrees or laid out as objects on a curve. So in this case, our clients start out with a minimum auto-generated group of booths, as in just 2, and they make edited copies of one booth to copy with changes to the next booth, and so forth. Let's just take a look and see how that might happen. Now, it may look like there's a lot of tools to learn, but actually to create layouts, sell booth space, and use those icon objects, there's really only 5 basic tools you need. If you want to have more control over customizing your plans, there are definitely more tools here for you to use. But for example, the Canadian National Exhibition has almost 1,000 displays and millions of visitors each year. And their managing coordinator has been using those same 5 Fairs Management Interactive tools for the last 15 years. We have several clients for over a decade that have used the simple Fairs MI method successfully.